Are you guys hearing anything from industry peers about how this looming recession is already impacting the appraisal industry?
I mean, one thing is the reducing workforce. I mean, we've seen a lot of the corporations starting to look at reduction there. So that's impacting the industry.
We're at square one right now. I mean, literally, I mean, I know that people are talking to, I know that the metrics say that we've been in somewhat of a recession for a little bit, but at the same time, nobody's really felt that. But I think now that interest rates are going up, like Johnny was saying, they're starting to cut a lot of staffs. I think the real impacts are probably going to be seen in the next, maybe 6 months, 12 months, where we're going to see it a lot more than we've seen it in the last 12 months. So, right now it's crystal balling a lot of stuff that we're having to kind of think through what might this look like, because I don't think we're really truly experiencing yet the true impacts that are yet to come.
Yeah, let me throw one other out there is the whole ESG thing. So if you're an appraisal firm in a shop and you don't have an ESG tab on your website, you don't realize that you are already being pre-screened out from multi-city, multi-state type of assignments. And so you've got to tell your story. So if you've done something or you have staff that's got diversity or you support crew. So my little company, we're a majority woman-owned business, and that makes a huge difference in RFPs and whatnot. So I really encourage the appraisers, look at your website, look at the story that you tell on your ESG story. If you've valued stuff that's been an environmental conversion or adaptive reuse, put that in there. If you've got diverse workforce, even though you've scaled back, tell that story. You will be more in line to be considered up front. And if you don't, you may not realize you're already being screened out.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, Casey, because ESG, I think all of us knew it was coming, but we really didn't put the right things in place to ensure that organizations were in the right position. And now, especially as we saw during the pandemic, people are paying more attention to this, stockholders, consumers, customers, and so forth. And so they're only buying from organizations or purchasing or working with organizations that have a stand in either of these three areas. And as a valuer, I think we're all trying to figure out, how does the value of that asset look from an environmental standpoint, 5-10 years from now, or the societal standpoint or the governmental standpoint. So you're absolutely right in reference to organizations, especially appraisal firms. If you are doing something in that area, you definitely need to scream from the mountains that you have things in these different buckets.
And let me give you two other areas that appraisers right now can use the downtime over the holidays to really beef up on. So one, every public company gets an ESG score from one of the proxy advisors, Glass Lewis or ISS, and they do a pretty lousy job at it. Being a director on a public REIT that got hit by an activist investor, we learned the hard way. We were industrial, so that all we did was cut down trees, pave over roads, and bring in diesel trucks, which is not what industrial is. So ESG scoring is coming to the property level. And one of our colleagues or peer industry groups is IREM, and they've developed a really good, robust model for doing property level ESG scoring. Get to know your IREM colleagues, and their model is very good. And they're paying as much as an appraisal fee, believe it or not, a fast and furious appraisal fee for an ESG scoring on a property. The second one is there are new programs. One of them is called PACE, the Property Assessed Clean Energy Program. And about 35 states have it. And what it enables you is if you're a property owner of a property that's dilapidated, it needs energy and environmental upgrades, you can go through the tax authority in your state to get the capital to upgrade that property. And guess what? You don't have to ask the lender for permission because the tax lien is senior to the bank debt, and it's assumable, and they underwrite it so that you can fund all that. You can provide the funding. So if banks shut down on lending and they don't need appraisals, the PACE programs, Property Assessed Clean Energy, the best program in the country is in Texas. A lady by the name of Charlene Umdiger is the top at it in the country. But 35 states, that's an area that you can become a unique specialist on and have a really good practice the next 2 years.